It's nothing else. Just for a child also, it wants to be safe when it attends the classes. It wants to be secured. It doesn't want to earn a bird name. That is why out of fear only it completes its homework. It is not out of love of the subject. Which child does it out of love? It should happen naturally. Isn't it? Isn't it?
Yes.
Huh?
So,
who is out of love working and earning money? Is it out of love one is working? No. It is for to earn money and to get pleasure. One is seeking money, isn't it? In the same way, everything is nothing but a conditioned way of reacting. The conditions are taken upon by one as something real, and without which one cannot exist. This is how the mind has been trained. Now, one cannot do this in an installment basis. Whole of the waking state, the moment the mind wakes up as an individual out of deep sleep, irrelevant, in spite of one's the age group or anything, this should be authentically, seriously questioned by one. So the moment mind wakes up, who has actually woken up? Who lives? It is not we are going to stop the activities which are destined to happen for one throughout his waking state, that are going to be carried on. Okay. See, despite ourselves thinking on so many things, if we consume, if while eating, we will be thinking of so many things. Despite that, what the system takes care of, it takes care of digesting the food that has gone in to our system, isn't it? In spite of your thinking, in spite of your viewing the TV, in spite of yourself involved in other activities also, what happens? In spite of your conversing over mobile phone and taking coffee or tea or whatever the kind of food you are taking, that is getting into the system normally. So everything has a place and they have a clear-cut, conditioned ways of functioning. So we are not questioning about our functional way of life at all. We are doubting the very existence of the individual. That should be taken holistically, not in an installment as like a project among
not as
various
20-minute meditation in one's life.
One's
in
life.
everyday life.
In the morning hour and the evening hour and reading some books on an installment, and whenever one is free, whenever one's mind is left aloof without any other work to do, then one will take up the scriptures and the books of religion and one will start let it also be there. It is not one among the various jobs. Can one take this seriously? Can one realize the significance of this? Because at every nook and corner, there is struggle throughout the waking state. Not only struggle, one does not know when one is going to face the complete disappearance, that is physical death. Physical death.
in that case, I still have a question.
Yeah.
So to probe,
Hmm.
or to probe the real existence, the kind of instrument that we are left with is again ego.
Yes.
Because we have to look through our thoughts. So in that case, how to question the thinker? How to question the very question that you mentioned? Who is the thinker or who is the doer?
Yeah.
Because we are looking through our mind only.
Ah,
But
yeah.
can you also suggest a practice which we can do?
See, certainly, the way in which the every activity arises out of one, as he wakes up, he is lost in the physical organism of his own body, or through his different pursuits, or the already registered conditionings, past experiences. This is what is one's life is. What is one's life made up of? All these things only. Constantly the bull routine wakes up through his body, the body as being the name and that particular form with its own challenges and the bull routine of past experiences ruling the present moments and trying to project and improve through every waking state and becoming something psychologically. And here categorically we have to draw a line. See, most of the people, see, animals, what are animals actually? What are their constitution? What is animality? What is animation? Animation is nothing but physical expressions. Expressing, acting, animating. This is what is with regard to an animal. That means, what are the activities of an animal? They only bodily live. They are conditioned by the bodily instincts. This is what is an animal. It does not go a millimeter also within itself. It cannot turn within and think about itself. Right from a one cell organism, be it a grass, it has an intelligence. It has an intelligence and it expresses itself. What kind of an intelligence? It grows towards the way the sunlight it gets. A tree bends itself and goes towards the sunlight. This is how their intelligence work.
Roots go towards water.
And the roots go towards the water source, wherever, how far may be it. So this is how they go on up to the level of the body intelligence. Body intelligence has only 5 levels of intelligence. In Tamil they say Orarivu, Eerarivu, Moonrarivu, Nanarivu, Aindarivu. So up to the level of 5. The 6th level is the actual intellect. Here you had mentioned the word ego. I have been mentioning the word the thinker, the doer, the individual, the person who lives. So a separate self, a software program throughout the waking state that exists. This is what I have been mentioning. You had mentioned the word ego also. So here, what is the speciality that got gained in a human being? In the human being, what happened? He constantly manipulate within himself also, and exploit or use the external world also without even understanding it. What everyone thinks the world is intelligent. What everyone thinks, the whole of the earth is big, the world is outside, the sun is somewhere as being the head of this family, staying in millions of light years away, and there are different planets also that are encircling the sun. So this kind of setup has gone into one's mind, and he has made to believe that they are all intelligent. He is a small being with a 5 feet or 6 feet according to one's placement, according to one's physical form. He is caught in that form and he has a separate mind. He has to save himself. He is something away, apart from this whole of the existence. So he is able to monitor everything. Since he is able to think, he is able to escape, he is able to improve himself, progress himself. He thinks he is intelligent, and other things are all also intelligent. He is in the world. These are all the kind of things that have gone into one's mind. So here actually what happens is, for an individual, the intellect has come up. That is the extraordinary thing the human being has, the intellect, the sixth sense. What is that sixth sense? It can turn within and immediately see what one feels about a particular moment, particular situation, particular challenge, and how to go about it, how to safeguard himself, how to improve himself, or how to avoid that particular struggle or conflict. And all these things he is able to see within as well as externally. He can project something else also and learn by it, try to experience it, seek it, avoid it. All these kinds of manipulations are possible because of an individual center. That is the most extraordinary thing. That itself should be questioned. That is the crucial foundation of this whole of this probe. That itself has to be questioned. That very intellect as a center, making oneself as a clear-cut individual with the boundaries of his capacities and the societal, familial configurations of that particular software program. He arises from deep sleep, and whole of the waking state he hunts, pursuing different things, achieving, denying, escaping, avoiding, manipulating, advancing, progressing, all kinds of things, including he has opinions about death and everything. And the science has given so many things. Now, that software center actually is the main center, the individual or the ego or the intellect, whatever the name is not important. One is an individual, and he has been accumulating different ways of manipulative ways of thinking, behaving, modifying, and all these things. That individuality has to be probed. So where can it probe about itself? Where can the individuality probe itself? What is that location where it can find the answer for this? Do you understand this question?
Yeah. Okay.
Where the individuality or the intellect can probe about itself. It can only probe about its reality only from where it arises, isn't it? From the place, from somewhere, every one of us, we are constantly arising out of that place, isn't it?
Yes.
It is just like from the fountain head, the fountain springs. The fountain water springs forth, isn't it? From the fountain head, the fountain water springs forth. Atop the hill, the water falls, isn't it? From somewhere, from the peaks of the mountains, waters, they get gathered and they fall as a waterfall. In the same way, somewhere, constantly, the individuality constantly arising in every one of us. So that can only be the place. That place is not outside of one's physical body. And actually, whether it is the intellect or the individual or the ego or the mind, whatever the name that can be given to it, but the name is not important. Everything means the same. The one thing, that is where from this everything, this whole software program as waking state comes. And waking state spreads for about 18 hours, 16 hours, 14 hours according to one's way of life. So can one search this on an installment for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, morning 20 minutes, evening 20 minutes, and do with that? Can that happen in that way?
No, Because if you are not doing it throughout your waking state, you will be, doing what you are doing, that is, constantly lost in thoughts or lost in your actions or your own desires.
Yeah. You will be in that flow of thinking. You will be lost in the flow of thinking. Again, it is going to completely engulf you. The thinking process, the conditionings, the reactions, the challenges, the struggles will go on continue. So, to arrest it, any point in waking state, the moment one sees this truth, really who this entity is, not interested in my name, not interested in the names of the worldly things that are around me, not in my form, not in the forms of the world. I am deeply interested because everything en masse disappears in deep sleep, and one fine day this body also falls away. So this being the fact, throughout the whole of the waking state, wherever the crucially the very software which originates not in the flow of the stream, the place where it originates, that is more important. That is what has been actually said by all the great seers and saints. Look at the place where you originate. That is the source of everything. That is the source of everything. So one has to constantly, throughout the waking state, take this investigation. This is, in Sanskrit they call it as vichara. Vichara means continuous, constant probe. Constant probe. It doesn't mean a lot of answers are going to come out. One is continuously gazing at that point from where one originates and carrying on the functional way of life, be it any role you are made to play. One may have to play. He may be a student, he may be a professor, he may be a scientist, he may be a professional of any kind or any sort, a housemaker or whatever the thing. But throughout an inner gaze supported by 2 sets of sitting meditation. In that sitting meditation also, already I had given a bell meditation. You now, with the same bell meditation, you pursue these 2 sittings of meditation also. That is one in the morning and one in the evening at least. And those who are left with lot of time, they can do any number of times. Clear cut in a safe place, be seated, have that bell sound meditation, and at the outside the bell will be with a gap of 40 seconds per bell sound. It will be going on for about 45 minutes. The bell is nothing but a reminder. If at all you stray in your bodily thinking, physically creating forms in your mind and straying in thoughts, it is a check. It is a reminder. The bell sound will be a reminder. Come back immediately. Do not question the place where you come back. If it is a silent zone, be aware of that silence, be there. This is what is the practice of awareness. This is what is the practice of bare attention. Also, simultaneously, you can take the second reference point, that is the breath. Breath is going on in spite of our thinking or not thinking. It is going on. So that gross reference also one can take note of. Constantly, if you are staying in thoughts, if you do not get a bell sound reminder, so immediately whatever that breath, that is in-breath, inhalation that is going on, go into the feel of it. Be aware of the feeling which is aroused by the incoming breath or the outgoing breath. Follow that. Be with that feeling. With that gross feeling, actually you are completely stopping the thinking. Stopping the individual to continue. Stopping the individual to grow. And look at clearly what is that place. This is what is the importance of meditation. Meditation also should be pursued vigorously, twice or thrice in a day, and throughout waking state one should authentically probe from where one arises as an individual. This is what the importance of this quest. This is very serious affair. One should take it seriously, earnestly, and with this a lot of real flowering, the blossoming, the understanding of the whole of the existence, not only one individual. It's about the understanding of the whole of the cosmos that comes to be aware, and we are nothing but the real source. That source never arises, never sets, it is never born and never dies. So all these facts, these are all not simply words, and beyond words one can directly see this as truth in oneself. With this, shall we end our today's discussion? With these words I end. We will meet in the next class.